Hello. This is a little bit of a different room makeover that I'm sharing with you today. This is our future kitchen, living, dining area, but it did not go to plan. It just wasn't working and I couldn't figure out why. So what I did was I actually got the help of my interior designer sister, and she helped me take my basic architect plans that I was just trying to recreate, and she really helped me elevate them into something so much nicer with not a lot of changes really, just intentional specific changes. So this is a really, really interesting kind of example of basic room from architect and interior designer gets their hands on it, and compare the two. I'll let you decide which you think is better. I know which one I prefer. It's not really very often that you can see the same space designed differently because you only get one shot at these types of things. But when you're using technology, you can do it as many times as you want. So I'll link the software that I use below. It's literally like a website, and it's free. It's really good. I really like it. And it's just unbelievable what you can do. Very, very satisfying if you are planning a renovation, or maybe if you wish that you were doing a renovation and you can't afford it, you can afford this free thing, and it's quite fun. So that's enough of me talking about it. Let me just show you what I've done.
So I know I showed you the mood board for the kitchen in a previous video, but let me show you now the layout that we're starting off with, and like just where are we starting? What are we actually talking about? We are talking about this room here. This is the open plan kitchen, living, and then opening up behind here is the dining. So we come in from the entry of the house, down the hallway, and into this big open plan room. And there's also a butler's pantry off here. So this is the entire new section of the house. And what we have are these doors here, here, and here. And these are opening up to the patio. They'll be sort of like double French door kind of things. So this is the design we have. What I have done originally is I have taken this layout, the dimensions, everything. I've recreated it in Homestyler and gone, okay, let's just start with a layout and see what does this look like. This is what the architects have created. What will this actually look like for a room? So you'll see my evolution process because you go through phases with this. So this was my first sort of positioning of things in this space, looking at how it would work. This is focused on the kitchen space, and then this is the living space. And I haven't really done anything to the floor plan. I've just kind of gone with what they've given us and gone, what does this look like? And I've tried a little bit to do some kind of colors or furniture things that might be close to what we want, or testing out different things, testing out like this green colored island bench just for something, testing out light blue cabinets. I was just testing out different versions, just seeing what do I like. And then going through just basically different iterations of it. And I played around with some of the lights because that can be a little bit of a fiddly thing. But you can see that this layout I was kind of refining and just comparing the lights, different lights, how they glow. For instance, I liked these lights, but I don't like the way that they look in the renderings. They're just not good enough. So that's something, these are just all the fiddly things you kind of do. So we're going through, just doing different versions. What does this look like? And then you can see from this other view, like it's coming together, but just as I was doing it, honestly, I was just thinking, why don't I love this? Like, I'm looking at the beams, and then I was working on trying to add in the skylights that are going to be there, and that was quite hard because I'd never done that before, and that took me a while, but eventually I got there. We've got them here now, and I started factoring that into the design. So we're looking at this now, and I started testing out different things along this back wall where the TV is, of like maybe a different texture or a wallpaper, just like literally looking like, do I even like these kind of ideas, to explore basically, because what's amazing about this software is you can explore, like it's just free to make 10 different versions, even the craziest things that you would never do. Have a look and see if you like it kind of thing. And that's what I love about this software. I'll link to it below. Highly recommend testing it out if you're into this type of thing. But, I fiddled around with a few different things and it looks fine, but I was just not loving it. And so I started testing out different paint colors. Like, what if I made the room like dark? And I do think actually this kind of looks better, but I'm still not loving it. So then I thought, well, the TV is very dominating. Why don't we get rid of the TV? And so I tested just some like basic built-in bookshelves just to like see what it looks like. Like, does this look better? And then I also put a dining table in the middle here thinking, do I put the TV area over here and make this sort of like seating and then a dining? But, I did a few different versions of this and I just started unraveling because like this especially, it looks like a WeWork. Like, what's going on here? How has this devolved into some kind of corporate shared office working space? Like, what's going on here? And I couldn't figure out why this had devolved so much and like what's going on. So I've reached out to my sister and I've got her to help because I was like, why does this look so bad? Why can't I make this look nice? And she's given her advice. So I've had a whole session with her and let me summarize it to you. So you can see here this floor plan. This is what I sent her. This is what the architects have done, but the architects just do their funny things in their funny ways. And like, it's her job to make it better. So here is what she has marked up. This is where this is gonna get really interesting. So what I'm gonna do is show you what she has presented to me. And now we're going to take her instructions, recreate them in Homestyler and just compare. And I haven't done it yet, but I am certain already just from what she's shown me that it's gonna look so much better because she's just really chosen specific intentional things to take like basic architect drawings to be more intentional and designed. So the big change that she made to this space was opening up this bit here. There was previously a wall here. So making this all open and removing the double doors from this space. So it becomes one big open area. Now she did a bunch of work on this butler's pantry area that was quite detailed, but we're not going to talk about that today. So she said do a built-in stuff with a fireplace like this. And she wanted the TV off center. And she said to put the main seating facing this way. And so the TV will come out on a swivel and do that. She called this a Carrie Bradshaw chair here. She said that we need, and then some kind of, she has this interesting modular sofa that she recommended here. Another interesting thing she noticed is that there was a bulkhead that's like a structural thing across the room here, and she recommended repeating it here so that it looked more intentional. That's great advice. Then over in this kitchen area, what she specifically, I thought was an interesting recommendation is this kind of like built-in window opening thing to make the rooms flow really nicely together, for it to look kind of like a feature, not like a dumping ground room that's like out the back kind of thing. And she also then designed this with a layout that it wouldn't matter, that all the ugly stuff would still be hidden. And similarly, a same concept from this approach as well. But we'll get to that another day. This, she also recommended here having some kind of place to have maybe like a coffee machine, some glasses, maybe even a zip tap type of thing, so that you and your guests could sort of self-serve like basic little drinks, basically. I thought that was a really good idea, and I think that would also look nice. Now, the one other thing that she said, which I thought was really, really interesting, really good idea, is this is the front view of the kitchen. So essentially like this view with, this back wall with this window here and the doors over here, that's this view. And she said what you should do is do a range hood detail that actually expands the width of the window, and then that becomes a meaningful, intentional architectural detail rather than trying to sort of shove a bunch of features together. So she recommended something maybe like this, but that went this whole width. So I think that's a really good idea. So let's go back to the drawing board and just focus firstly on this living area. Let's just recreate what she has said to do.
Okay, so at this point, I want to talk to you about the things that I think that I've learned so far. The first general lesson I've had so far is just generally calm down. Stop trying to do so many things. I would look at each individual part of the room, such as the bench top, the light, the wall, the ceiling, the sofa, the furniture, the cabinets, the knobs on the cabinets, all these things. Every single thing I would look at and go, I want this to be interesting. And like it's just too all over the place. And I couldn't settle down and just do a few intentional things to make it nice. And like the rest is just calm down. The really good advice that my sister gave me was stop looking at colors and things like that. She was like, if it's a good design, it will look good in black and white. And you should be able to put everything where it goes, look at it in black and white and go, yeah, this looks like a good room I want to be in. And then you can start to like color in the coloring in picture you've made and make it, you know, whatever colors you figure out. That makes a lot of sense to me. I've never heard that explained in that way. The other thing that I've really let go of in the second phase of this is trying to make all the furniture what I would want it to be. For instance, like this console table back here, I was like, well, I'll have this in the house somewhere. And because you can in Homestyler, I would look for something similar and look for a similar color. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be identical. But also, there's so many things that I don't own yet that I want to collect over time. And so I'm not really going to be able to capture these like future accumulated items because I don't know what they are yet. Like this light fitting, I wouldn't have thought that I was going to get this, but now I do. And like, I enjoy doing those things and I enjoy collecting all the things. So it's kind of pointless to try and make all these things unique when that's not what this software is for. This software is for visualizing a space. And so most of the furniture that's in the software is stuff that is fairly contemporary, sensible, neutral, you know, whatever, used for like, you know, display home type of stuff. And there is really a bit of everything. But sort of trawling through all of the furniture options to try and like make some kind of style is not really... you're not really going to get exactly what it's going to end up looking like with the furniture. It's just about that size, shape, scale, color kind of thing. So I've taken my sister's advice. She just said, make everything white so there's no colors. So I've done that. I've got furniture that just is sort of the right shape or sort of the right size of what she's talking about. For instance, I've added these bookcases along the back, and they're not probably the style of bookcase that I will end up with. For instance, I've done this fireplace. All the fireplaces were a bit different and there wasn't one with a hood that went up in the way that she had drawn it. So this was the closest thing, but still isn't quite right. But that's okay, that's just a detail. We're getting the idea that there's a fireplace and some bookshelves. So things like that I've sort of released and just gone, yeah, okay, let's piece together the concepts of things. So when I show you these images, keep in mind that I don't know if it's going to really be this contemporary when I finish with it, especially because I hope to find, you know, some interesting treasures along the way and nice art and things like that. But we do have a layout and we have a concept, and you can see this now, especially when you compare it to the original images. It just looks less like a white box than it did before. You know, it is a white box, don't get me wrong. But these little details that Liv has told me to add in has just made it look like a home rather than a white box, which is exactly what I wanted to achieve.
Okay, so here it is in black and white. This is the room. You can see this was really good advice, just saying make this look good in black and white first. So here we are, this is the kitchen, looking around. Isn't this cool to see it like this? So we can see this opened area here with the dining area, the living, and then this sort of like breakfast area, the island bench, and seeing through to there with these windows. And that has a nice little view, even though that really is a storage sort of room. And we've got our big range hood. So coming in here, this room isn't done yet, just FYI, but you can start to get an idea of what might happen in here. There's a toaster to give you a clue, and some basic cabinets. I haven't finished that bit, but coming back out here and then looking down, and then you can also see the skylights up there, and then coming down here and then into the dining area, and that's still pretty basic. But so that's what we have. So now let me show you in colour. Let's have a look. So just a little reminder, here's the WeWork situation we had before, and now this is what it has turned into. Now keep in mind that most of the things are still white and a bit basic. You can see just with these shapes and sizes and layout that it already is looking so much better. Now I have shared before the mood board of this space, and I was calling the style that I want to have it Nancy Myers crossed with Wabi Sabi. So that's the kind of style that I think I'm going to basically paint this white template with. I do think a lot of the things are going to evolve over time. You know, if I come across an interesting reclaimed window or cabinet or something, then that might sort of push us in a certain direction. And so I really do like this idea of just having like the things where they're going to go, the ideas of things, so that I can sort of have an instruction list of what I need to go and buy, but also to know what's going to work in the space. And it means that I can go on an adventure and see how it plays out. So I still do have a lot of decisions to make with this, but I know what the layout is going to be. So make sure you subscribe if you want to follow along this journey with me. I've got to decide on all of the colors, and I also have to do this same designing project for all the other rooms in the house. So it's going to be really fun. I'm actually really looking forward to it. And while I work on designing the upcoming rooms, I'm always sharing things on Instagram, so you can follow me there to see what I'm up to right now. And I'll see you in the next video.